Dear curious listeners of Gaudeamus, we're very happy to present a new podcast in our series, Curious Ears. Today we have a very special artist with us. Let me try and pronounce it correctly. Dirge Seçil Kuran. Merhaba.
Merhaba.
Nasılsın?
I'm good. How are you?
From Turkey. I'm trying my best Turkish here.
It sounds very good.
Could you reply in Turkish maybe?
İyiyim. Sen nasılsın?
Wow, that sounds even better. Percussionist, classical but also contemporary musician, composer, singer, performer in a wide spectrum of theatrical experience, right, Dirge?
Yeah. In the Netherlands, finally, I'm having the theatrical experience and loving it.
She's presenting her podcast, Listen Through My Ears, as a performer on stage. Dirge has hundreds, if not thousands, of experiences live on stage, playing with orchestra, with band, heavy rock, theater, you name it, right? Dirge, could you tell us a little bit about your background first and how it evolved?
I started as a classical and contemporary percussionist in Turkey, and I work with orchestras and ensembles for more than 10 years. Or maybe 13 years. And then I came to Netherlands like 6 years ago and did a little master about music and technology. And then, I started to work with theaters. Luckily, I got discovered. And for the last year and a half, I'm working with theaters now and super happy.
In terms of style, you've played with orchestra, classical, romantic music, contemporary, big orchestras, right?
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
And then also chamber music, smaller ensembles.
Yeah, like chamber music a little bit less, of course, but it was more in the beginning of my career. But yeah, it was mostly really orchestral percussionist, and also I was involved in a percussion band. I am still, but I'm not in Turkey anymore. We were mostly doing most of the Turkish premieres of the contemporary percussion pieces. Mm-hmm. So I was mostly focused on orchestras and my percussion ensemble. So
while you were also developing a taste for rock, modern band.
Yeah, that was already the case. I grew up as a little rock kid because of my mom. So my music taste was actually the classical and contemporary music taste developed when I was in conservatory, because I wasn't just even aware about it.
That's very interesting, because that has given you a wide experience on how to listen to your colleagues live when playing in very different acoustic situations. And that's when we were discussing what should be the topic of your podcast. Clearly the conclusion, this is where I have my very specific experience that I can share with the listeners.
Yeah, it's exactly like of course every musician, performer or artist listens in some case, but this is really my personal experience.
So in your podcast, you give us excerpts of how you listen to the orchestra piece when you're playing yourself. You were recording yourself with a little recorder mobile phone?
Yeah, it's the audios are from my Instagram. So sometimes you just put the phone on somewhere and just leave it, and just to make a post or look how I am looking, so for really silly reasons. But so it's it wasn't intended to, okay, let me record this and so I can hear how I hear. So was just,
I have collected those samples and you have made a really narrative story on how it is to be placed. I never had that experience on the percussion spot. How you hear your surrounding, how do you have to count on being a little bit earlier because of the time it will take to travel?
Yeah.
And also in a different musical situation like theater performance or rock bands, and you have given us a nice broad palette of different acoustic situations.
I'm happy about it. It also starts with classical and a little bit changing, getting into the bands, and then it happens in the theater. So, and actually theater is also like having a band and being in an orchestra, so it's kind of like a sweet combination of it. So it's a nice story.
And to complement your story, you have quoted third artists that you admire, that you were in touch or you were triggered by their experience. Could you tell us a little bit about that too?
Like triggered about
there is a sample in your podcast of a very famous rock band, and
yeah,
the position of the guitarist, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's John Frusciante. So he's a guitar player of Red Hot Chili Peppers, and actually, yeah, I think this podcast is kind of created from his in-ear monitoring. So that was the first thing that I thought about. So how he listens on the stage. So he's just having his own guitar and own vocals, and the rest of the band doesn't exist to him. So he's just like completely playing something else, completely playing another music and just enjoying himself like that. You don't hear any main vocals, sometimes maybe bass because he needs to hear it. So, but the rest is just a completely different music for him.
Thanks for that. As a spoiler to the listeners, it starts with classical orchestra experiences and then it evolves into other kind of surroundings like heavy metal or theater productions. How was it for you to articulate this story, Dirge? What did it come? I invite the listeners to take this journey to travel with you. How was it for you making it?
Yeah, it was I was struggling what to really actually talk about, and then I realized like I spent a lot of time in my life like as being an orchestral percussionist, so I can talk about it a lot. So then I started to talk how musicians mostly listen, or in an orchestra how it works, or why there's a conductor. And then I realized that I have these Instagram videos, and then I was just like, oh, then I can really make examples and really talk about them. And I just write one thing for one video, and then I was just like, oh my God, I'm talking a lot about this. So, okay, let's do that then. So then I really decided to go on really how I was listening, what I was hearing, like a personal experience of myself. And then it just started to flow. And then it was super easy, actually. It just, I just had to trust my history. So
easy to listen to. So I invite everybody to enjoy this journey.
I'm really curious, like what people can think, because they will hear really different stuff that they don't expect. Like, okay, oh, this is what people are hearing in an orchestra. It doesn't sound like what audience hears at all. So
revealing the view or the ear of the insider.
Yeah, exactly.
New information, fresh look, fresh listen for Gaudeamus listeners.
Yeah, hopefully.
Teşekkür ederim Dirge.
Teşekkürler Jonás.
See you around in the festival very soon.
Yes, see you around, definitely. I'm curious about the festival, and I hope people will enjoy this podcast as well.
I'm sure they will.
All right.
Güle güle. Thank you.
Güle güle. Bye bye.